Chocolates and wine and a beautiful piece of paper. Thank you very much. So, class of 2017. Family, friends, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, it's an amazing honor to be here, to be invited to come and speak while all you actually want is to get this over as fast as possible to get your diplomas and move on with the better part of the events, but I'm here. I can't even pronounce the honor that I was just given. I'm a practitioner. I come from business. We get stuff done. And you all are business students. Well, not students anymore. You're about to be graduated, so you're becoming business leaders. So let me tell you a few stories that occasionally you might think back on and say, okay, well, what can I do with the messages and the lessons and the mistakes that this guy has made? Because I've made plenty. So I graduated 30 years ago. Yeah, I know, it's bad, but that's the reality. In those days, if you graduated, you had only one ambition, that is go work in big business, become CEO. That was the simplicity of it. 16 years ago, I actually made it to be the CEO. I got my job interview on 9/11. I was appointed in the role of CEO in the same week that Enron exploded. So I had this dream to be the CEO of a big company because I thought I would be a hero if I would be the CEO and make a nice living. But actually I was one of the biggest villains in town, people who wanted to make too much money in a world that was known by the war on terror. So there's these moments. If you would have graduated 8 years ago, you would have had a hard time finding a job given the financial crisis. If you would have graduated 2 years ago, you would have thought, wow, am I happy to graduate from BSL because that's the best business school in the world. And it's certainly one of the few business schools who put sustainability in the heart of their curriculum. And that's what 2 years ago was so cool, because the Paris Agreement, the SDGs, but you're the class of 2017. What kind of world is today? The SDGs might not be the coolest things. The Paris Agreement is being debated. Conflicts are everywhere, and it's a rather unpredictable world now, isn't it? I met Catherine, who I use as a symbol for all of the great faculty of BSL, in 2012 in Rio. We were not on the beach, we were not having holidays, but Rio +20 happened. And Catherine was there together with many people from the educational world to talk about the 50+20 vision. How do we really revolutionize the educational system? And I just, would like the students to give a clap to all of the faculty of BSL, because the mission of BSL is an amazing mission. If you've never read it, I'm sure you've started every morning with it being projected on the screens and coming up as a screensaver on your computer when you start it up. I know, but it's an amazing vision, and I want to congratulate the BSL faculty. So like I said, if you want to know me, you have to go back 30 years. The Joshua Tree had just come out. You kids don't even know what I'm talking about, but it's been the greatest album that U2 played. And actually they're on a world tour today, playing all the songs in the order of the album. It's quite amazing if you're into it. So I got to run a big company called TNT, big logistics group, 190,000 people, I don't know how many trucks and planes, big machine. And then at one point, we were really serious in the World Food Program. We became the first partner of the UN, and CSR was then the thing of the day. But then we bought 2 Boeing 747s, and that kind of woke me up. So I was 41 when I woke up. You guys are much sooner to the game. I was 41 when I woke up. I bought 2 747s, at least TNT did. I just signed the dotted line. But the year after we made that decision, I was looking into our sustainability report, and the emissions of the company had doubled. So what happened? We had 50,000 trucks. We had 60 aeroplanes flying around Europe, and we put 2 long-haul 747 jumbo jet freighter planes to fly from Europe to China, 2 planes a day, up and down. They would fly out empty, almost empty. They would come back full. With what? With iPhones. Because that's the stuff we make in China, and everybody wants them tomorrow. Those 2 747s going up and down to China once a day doubled the emissions of the second largest transport company in the world. That's globalization for you through another lens, and that's where I woke up to sustainability. Then the company got attacked by activist shareholders. You still see those creeps around, you know. I don't know if there's any bankers in the room, but we need to have a serious conversation because the system is having 1 or 2 fundamental flaws. And the activists proved to me that sustainability was nice on the edges, but far from the core of what business was about. And that's the problem with MBAs as well today. Not with BSLs, obviously, but with many of the others. The shareholder-centric model has to stop unless we move to integrated capitalism, where natural and social capital are deemed equal to financial capital. We will not make the world a sustainable place or deliver the SDGs. And that's why I'm so happy to just be the flawed warm-up act to the next laureate, which is Kate, who has written this amazing book, which you should all read or maybe have read already. So, I'm only asked to talk for a few minutes, so I'll be brief. 13 years ago, I became CEO. So just project that for yourself. If you are the class of 2013, or 17, apologies, you project yourself 13 years forward, we're in the year 2030. Aha, we're back on the SDGs. Because that's the agenda that we've agreed the world wants by 2030. It will address poverty, it will address the climate change, the health issues, gender equality, education, cities, land, oceans, all the topics, peace, proper governance. It's a big, all-encompassing agenda. But if I talk about it in those words, it doesn't mean anything. We need cities that can inhabit 1 billion people to be built between today and 2030. We need to halve the emissions that the world produces today by 2030. 6.4 million people are truck drivers today. 4.4 million of those will be out of a job by 2030 as a result of self-driving trucks. That's the amount of change that will happen in society in the next 13 years. And you guys will lead the society towards those objectives. And that's why you should be so proud of yourself today for picking up this diploma, for having your parents and your family support yourself, but for having been loaded with the knowledge, the framework, and the Google apps to go find the knowledge that you don't have yet, to really be the leaders that the world needs. And leadership is something that we always talk about when we talk at business schools. So I'm, as one can tell, clearly a non-native English speaker. I do great damage to the beautiful language, I know. But occasionally, when you're a non-native speaker, you have to pick up a dictionary and say, what does a word actually mean? You know, I talk about leadership all day. What does it mean? And leadership, the origin of the word leadership is pathfinder. That's what all of you are, pathfinders. I wish you great success, great happy night, but keep your eyes open and please go find the path. Thank you.